Welcome to Redstone class. Today we're going to go over droppers and dispensers. We'll cover 4 principles of them together, and then we'll go over each one. The uses of dispensers really quickly, and then we'll go through 3 key uses of droppers, and then you'll have some homework. So if you follow me over here, we've got one of each right here next to each other. The key difference and the first principle to know about them is that a dropper, which I have on the left here, will put it into a chest, whereas the dispenser will just kick it out. And so this is something to know. This is the primary difference. People commonly think the primary difference is that a dispenser shoots things. And while that's true, there's more to it than that, which is that a dropper can be used for more things in some ways because it can put things inside of inventories. So they can put them inside of other dispensers, they can put them inside of hoppers. So that's something to know. That's the first principle. So the next one, which you might know, is that they are a little bit random. Their aim is not very good, we'll put it that way. And so you can't use them for super long range because, hang on, I did not do that fast enough. There we go. You can see that they will land kind of in a general circular area, and so it doesn't aim super well to the side either. And because of that, if you're going to use it for firing things, you're going to want to have it in a fairly close radius. The third principle is random. Specifically, that if you have more than one slot filled, it's going to pick one at random. And so each time I push this button, I'm going to get possibly a different one. See how I got that one the second time? Well, my luck is interesting. You can see it's totally random. And it should be a 1 in 9 chance if you got them, but if you've only got 2, then it's a 50-50 between those two. Does that make sense? And so the fourth and final principle is the 2-tick delay, which most people don't know about. So it actually takes 2 ticks, so these will happen at the same time. I've got a repeater with a 2-tick delay here. And so when I push this button, they will light up initially at the same time. So let's go over really quickly all the things you can do with dispensers, and then we're going to talk about droppers. And so right here, I've got a button that would trigger all 4 of these. And it can actually put armor on you, like that. And see, now I've got a suit of armor on. So dispensers can also place boats if there's a water block directly underneath. I will show you that it doesn't work if you don't have the water underneath. That's actually a requirement. It will bone meal plants. We saw that it shot, and that projectile launching, see? So bone meal will eventually cause something to grow, but it'll launch pretty much any projectile that a player can throw. And so eggs, enchantments, XP, snowballs, you name it, it'll throw it. And so it'll also place minecarts. Now here's a really useful one, which is that not only can it place water blocks and lava blocks, but it can also suck them back up if it's got an empty bucket. You probably know about fireworks, but it can also finish golems, snow golems, iron golems. It can even finish withers. So that's something to know. You can use spawn eggs on creative mode if you'd like. It can place shulker blocks. This is really significant because this is a solid block. It's able to technically place a solid block. Now you might know that whether you have shears or an empty bottle in will cause it to create honeycomb or create a honey bottle respectively. And it can also automatically prime TNT. So that's something really, I don't see that used very often. You generally see TNT ignited another way, but that is one way to do it. So let's go over the more interesting thing now, which is the things you can do with droppers. So I have 3 key uses that I consider. One of them is item pipes, one of them is redstone logic, one of them is randomizers. I've already kind of showed you randomizers. So for redstone logic, you can actually use them for toggles. So by having a dropper here that's facing that way, a dropper will put a block in, or an item into a hopper, and if you have one underneath that's facing this one that's facing upward, it will cause it to tick both of these when you push the button into here, and then it'll only tick this one into here when it happens again. So this is a toggle where it stays off, and a redstone pulse causes it to stay on. If you know what a toggle flip-flop is, it's able to do that with just droppers. Now over here, we have a monostable or shorter pulse. And so if I were to push this button, you can see that it can make a shorter pulse, because when we send a redstone pulse, it's going to put an item in the hopper that goes back into it. And so we can measure that, and we can make a shorter pulse. And I use that in my arrow, my tipped arrow tool in video. I'll show you, I'll put a link to that. So that's and then the most significant thing is if you're doing farms in the nether, we can do these pipes because you can't have water in the nether, so how do you move items around? Well, there's two ways of doing it. And this is going to be your homework assignment, which is I want you to try and make faster versions of these using what we learned about how it's powered. Right now, I'm going to show you that it's powered almost like other redstone blocks, where it will be powered if a block next to it is powered, but it pulls the power almost like a repeater does, which means where regular redstone powered things would be powered like so, it can be powered if if one next to it, whether it's a dropper or whether it's a dispenser, if the one next to it is powered. And so that causes a very interesting property, which will make it so that you can actually make the typical design a little bit faster. And so this is a design where if I have items in the bottom here, it's going to have a observer facing like this, and then just a chain of these like so. And then we have a chain like so. And by adjusting the block underneath, it just chains all the way upward like that. And so if I have blocks in here, boop, and the same thing if you do it sideways. My snow golem's been having fun over here. And so this will go all the way down, and each of these will trigger one. And so I have some oak planks here, and whoop, and it comes all the way through and out. There's nothing in any of these. And so my homework to you is make that faster, using the principle over here with the homework. See if you can make it so that we need fewer of these and that it'll go faster than it's currently going. And I will show you in the homework video that you can make it even faster than blue ice water where something's sailing down. You can go even faster than that. So that's all for this video. If you haven't played this much with hoppers or with droppers and dispensers, I recommend that you do. It's very useful for a lot of things, and they're not really utilized nearly as much as they could be. But that's it for this video. Have a good rest of your day. Class is dismissed.